Today I'm going to talk about how to use toggles flexibly in Unity. So what we want to achieve is something similar that we can see on this scoreboard. So here we have accuracy and we have time. And both of these toggles are added to a script. And inside of the script we have a list of toggles. And what is special about this script is what you can actually do is here we have the toggle overall, which is here represented as accuracy, and we have time. And we can just change this enum into time, for example, so that we have time and time. And then once we actually swap now the toggle itself, then we can see that it now corresponds to a different value. And if we change it back to overall, for example, then we get something different. And you can actually add any of the elements here that you want to have. This is the project that we'll use for our example. In this project, I've already set up the toggle group. So inside of the toggle group, we currently have 3 toggles. We'll use 2 for now and then later add the third. So the first thing that we want to do is to create our C# script, which we'll call change cube color. And we will assign this to this toggle group. And we will open this one. And we can delete the update since we don't need it. What we want to do in this script is first to enable the selection for toggles in the viewport itself inside of Unity. And to do this, the first thing that we actually need to do is to create an extra class inside of this function. So what we do is first we need to make it serializable. This is telling Unity that this actually should show up in the editor itself. And then in this case we can just call it, let's say public class color toggle. And then inside of this class, the first thing that we need, of course, is the toggle itself. So we'll just add it as toggle. And then we want to have a color. So to make the color itself, let's start with just creating an enum, since we will want to have 3 different colors in this case. So we'll take red, green and blue. So what we do is we add our C# class, enum, and then we're going to call it colors in this case, since color is already taken. And then here we will add one that's called red, green and blue. And then we will import this here. So then inside of our change cube color class, we actually want to import these toggles. So here we can make a public list of our color toggle. And now we should be able to add color toggles here. So for now we will just add 2. So we're getting 2 elements, and what you can see is that these already show up. But it seems that I forgot to add the correct toggle. So the one that we need is unityengine.ui. And then this needs to be a small letter. And now we can drag our toggles into the toggle field. And then for this one, we have decided this one is red and then this one is green. So we'll select red and green. So at this point, it's not really going to do anything, since we still need to execute one of the functions, and we will also have to add the object itself that we actually want to change. So in this case, this will be a game object, and it's the cube that we're going to change. So let's do that first. And then we're going to loop over all of our toggles with a for each. So we'll take color toggles and we'll call it a color toggle here. What we can then do is we can actually use the onValueChanged. So we'll have to use color toggle dot toggle, and then here we have the onValueChanged, and we'll have to add a listener to this. So we can just use an anonymous function here. So based on the state, we can then decide if we want to change the color into whatever we want to change it into. So in this case, whenever we press the button, the state will be set to true. So if state, which just means that if this is true, then we will actually change it in the color that we want. So to do that, we'll have to get the component of the cube, and here we can get a renderer, and this one will then the material, and we'll set the color. So we'll first just start by adding it, changing it into one specific color. Let's start with red actually. So when we start our game now, we should have a cube that turns red. And of course at this point it's not responding to the button input since we haven't configured this yet. So for this example, we'll just use a simple switch statement. And then we can use the color toggles, color toggle dot color, to actually get the color. So we can automatically add the sections here, and then we'll copy our functionality to actually change the color of the cube. So we already have red. We're going to add it to green as well, and one to blue. So for green, we'll change the second one. For blue, the third one. So now when we start our game, we should at least have red and green. And the flexibility here is that whenever we now add a different element, we can just assign this color, this toggle, and then assign the color to blue. And then once we now start this game again, it will turn into blue.